A rookie soldier learns that national security is just a polite mask for something far hungrier. Follow her descent from elite recruit to doomed whistleblower as she uncovers a pact that trades innocent souls for fragile peace and records the moment the monsters decide she's next on the menu. I can still taste the cold coffee from that January orientation, bitter as burnt tar, when Sergeant Harker, all flinty eyes and crow-winged shoulders, told the dozen of us that the new unit had no name. "If you need to call us something," he said, "call us the Silence." I'd signed the paperwork in a windowless Fort Bragg trailer, hands shaking with half-born excitement. A promotion, they said. Black budget perks, they hinted. My recruiter winked. "Think Delta meets NASA," he whispered, as if the stars themselves wore camouflage. I should have known stars can be carnivorous. Training was savage but quick, a kind of accelerated baptism. Weeks blurred into a single droning hum of gun oil, chlorine-scented pools for breath control drills, midnight lectures about unconventional diplomacy. Whenever someone asked with whom we were supposed to be diplomatic, an officer would raise a finger and sketch a crescent in the air, as if carving a tiny sickle on the invisible blackboard of night. Between lessons, I stole moments to jot questions in a spiral notebook. Why night maneuvers only? Why satellite radio blackouts? Why are we always facing east? Nobody answered, but everyone seemed to feel the same gravity pulling at us, something heavier than parachutes and loaded rifles. We were told to surrender our cell phones forever and to forget the concept of leave. We joked nervously that we'd become ghosts. The corridors of our subterranean barracks, because of course they were underground, smelled of fresh paint and old fear. Some nights I heard sobbing in the vents. No one ever admitted it was them. 3 months in, Commander Wilkes gathered us in a briefing room even deeper below. The fluorescent bulbs flickered, and for an instant my teammates looked like negative film. White eyes, charcoal skin. A projector disgorged a single slide. A red pentagon nested inside a 7-pointed star. "You're about to hear the continuity directive," Wilkes said. His throat worked like he was swallowing shards. "Once you know it, there's no walking it back." He killed the lights. A low mechanical groan, almost a purr, seeped through the walls. Something alive, I thought, was turning in its sleep somewhere behind the concrete. "The United States maintains cooperation," he went on, "with an external polity. You may think of them as extraterrestrial. In working terminology, they are class 4 pre-terrestrials. For morale's sake, we call them benefactors." Someone in back muttered a curse. Wilkes ignored it. "They've been here longer than humanity," he continued. "They don't want land or gold or nuclear cores. They want souls, raw psychic biomass. The purest yields the sweetest signal." Another slide flashed. Toddlers in hospital smocks, electrodes taped to temples. A third, rows of empty cribs, sheets yanked upward as if the babies had evaporated mid-nap. A keening noise clawed up my spine before I realized it was me. I clamped my mouth shut. "We harvest strategically," Wilkes said. "Statistically invisible populations, runaways, street kids, the surplus of our civil failures." He looked at us, eyes roomy with something that might have been shame or a perverse pride. "We do this so Manhattan still glitters at night and Iowa corn still grows tall. One soul spared millions. The math is brutal but simple." He asked if anyone wanted out. No one spoke. I think we were beyond words, stunned, anesthesia slow. He smiled sadly, opened the exit hatch, and told us we had 20 minutes to decide. I walked the metallic hallway, shoes clanking like a heartbeat in an echo chamber. In a small lavatory, I retched until my ribs hurt. In the flicker of a cracked mirror, I studied my own eyes, dilated, animal, already hunted. Then I splashed water on my face, straightened my collar, and told myself it had to be a test, some immoral scenario to measure loyalty. They'd spring the truth later with a laugh and a medal. I was wrong. Our first allocation began at 3:17 on an overcast Wednesday. We parked an unmarked van at the ragged edge of Los Angeles' Skid Row, where tents shivered like moth-eaten lungs. Steam from sewer grates blurred the streetlights into orange halos. Sergeant Harker handed out latex gloves and black hoods. Non-lethal, he promised. Quick, quiet. The children appeared almost immediately. A brother and sister, maybe 8 and 9, foraging for tossed pizza boxes. Their faces were grimy but bright with that small, fierce hope kids carry even when the world kicks them. I remember the girls' hair clips, tiny yellow butterflies. I remember the boys' sneaker soles flapping loose. We approached like social workers, voices soft. When I saw the zip ties emerge from Captain Morales' sleeve, my blood went ice. I stepped forward, mouth open to protest, but Harker's hand landed on my shoulder. Eyes front, recruit, he hissed, and pressed a pistol grip into my palm. The message, complicity or coffin. The abduction lasted 90 seconds. The screams were brief, stifled by chloroform patches, swallowed by the endless siren wail of the city. One homeless man saw us. Harker peeled off a $100 bill, and the witness melted into an alley, morality pawned for a night of warmth. The children lay limp on the van floor. I knelt beside them, checking pulses, whispering apologies. The boy's eyes struggled open. He tried to ask something, but the gag muffled it. Morales barked at me to sit down and strap in. 30 minutes later, we reached an abandoned missile silo in the Mojave. The desert air tasted of rust and ozone, like the sky after a thunderclap. We carried the bound siblings down a freight elevator that wheezed with every floor, deeper than physics felt comfortable. The lowest chamber was cathedral-sized, lined with obsidian slabs that drank the light. In the center, a fissure yawned. Not a hole, but a wound, edges beating faintly like lips. An indescribable presence pulsed upward, hungry and playful. I smelled playground chalk, lilacs, and burning hair all at once. The thing sang inside my skull with a voice like glass wind chimes. Bryn, bring. Morales recited coordinates, prayer cadence, while Harker slid the children across the slick floor toward the fissure. They woke and howled, the sound ricocheting off stone. Their terror shattered whatever hypnosis had muzzled the rest of the squad. I saw Private Lynn clutch her dog tags and sob. For a stupid, bright moment, I thought we'd mutiny together. Instead, no one moved but me. I lunged, yanking the boy back by his makeshift leash. Harker's elbow met my temple. White light exploded behind my eyes. I hit the ground, taste of copper blooming like a poisoned flower. Over me, I heard something wet and enormous inhale. A windstorm of ash spun the chamber, and when my vision cleared, the children were gone. The fissure's edges glistened crimson. I screamed until my throat bled. Back topside, Wilkes summoned me alone. His office was Spartan, but for a single antique radio, its dial frozen between stations, emitting faint crackles like distant fireworks. You disobeyed, he said. Yet you're here breathing, which means you still serve a purpose. I told him I would go public, that America would never allow this horror, that he was a traitor to humanity. My words tumbled out, wild and bright as sparks. Wilkes listened, hands folded, as though weighing a parishioner's confession. You think the world sleeps peacefully out of ignorance, he said when I finished. But they sleep peacefully because of consensus. Everyone in power already knows. Presidents sign the continuity directive their first hour in the Oval. Congress gets sanitized briefings. Media giants receive subsidies and let the poorest vanish between headlines. He leaned forward. The only crime is talking about it loudly. I told him I was louder than he realized. He nodded, almost kindly, and said the benefactors adored spirited prey. My court-martial lasted 5 minutes, attended only by my squad, and a doctor with a clipboard, whose eyes looked glued on. They stripped me of rank, of name. Harker removed my dog tags, offering a weirdly gentle pat on the back, like he was condoling a pet he was about to euthanize. The ride to the silo was slower this time, ceremonial. They didn't gag me. They wanted the fear to marinate. I forced myself to stay upright, memorizing faces. Lynn, cheeks blotched with regret. Morales, jaw clenched so hard a vein pulsed. Harker, unreadable as sheet granite. I told them they'd burned for this. No one answered. In the chamber, the fissure was wider, edges throbbing like veins. The air churned with low, trumpet-shaped moans. Music theory for lunatics. Someone wrapped chains around my wrists and ankles, icy like tongue on flagpole cold. Wilkes read a benediction, coordinates again, staccato and nonsensical, but the crackling radio in his pocket echoed every phrase in stereo, as though the desert itself repeated him. They dragged me forward. The fissure exhaled. Playground chalk, lilacs, burning hair. 1,000 small voices murmured from below, each one a stolen lullaby. I spat into the abyss. The spittle sizzled mid-air, incinerated by something invisible. "She will not break," the chorus whispered, clearly disappointed. Harker shoved me to my knees. Morales produced a combat knife and slashed my fatigues open, exposing skin to the humming dark. Lynn sobbed again. I locked eyes with her and mouthed help. She dropped her gaze. When the Fisher's film peeled back, I glimpsed what waited. Not aliens with silver eyes or bat wings, but idea shapes, impossible geometries folding in on themselves. Cilia of smoky amethyst reached up like exploratory fingers. One brushed my cheek. I felt childhood memories rip loose. Snow angels, my mother's lullaby, the thrill of first love, and vanished down the moor. With every stolen memory the thing purred louder, throaty rumbles of satisfaction. "Any soul works," I croaked to my squad, voice shredding. "It doesn't care if it's children or soldiers. You're next. All of you." Wilkes laughed, but it cracked in the middle. Harker's eyes darted. Lynn opened her mouth as if to object. Then the Fisher changed its tune, the way a cat shifts attention from string to dangling bird. Its tendrils thickened, coiling toward my squad. The benefactors had tasted mutiny in the air. Fresh spice. The chamber lights blew. In the strobe of emergency beacons, I saw chaos. Lynn yanked her pistol, firing into nothing. The rounds zigzagged midair, devoured by glimmering teeth that sparkled, then were gone. Morales screamed as a tendril threaded through his ear canal, yanking grey matter like cotton candy. Harker tried to run, but the floor liquefied, swallowing his boots. He sank, thrashing, swallowed to the waist, then the chest, then silence. Wilkes alone remained next to me, face lit, hellishly red. "We feed them order," he shouted, as if bargaining. "Not disorder!" The abyss laughed with his voice, mocking, and pulled him down in slow, savouring inches. His last word was "Mama." Chains loosened. In the confusion, nobody held me. I staggered, blood roaring like surf. The crack still wanted me. I felt its suction in my lungs. But the thing was glutted now, like a python after feast. I crawled away, sobbing, wading through puddles of cooling crimson that hadn't been there moments before. A sparking control panel guided me to an auxiliary lift. By some miracle it engaged, hauling me up, 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 while alarms wailed below like church bells for the damned. I emerged under a desert dawn the colour of spoiled milk. The van lay burning. tires shrieking black smoke ribbons into the sky. No rescue choppers, no cavalry, just the hush of sand and the distant chirr of insects that had no opinion on cosmic pacts. I walked until sunset, skin blistering, lips cracked. A trucker finally braked for me on Route 66. He asked where I was headed. I told him any place with children's laughter. He laughed, said he hadn't heard that sound much these days. Schools kept reporting weird absentee spikes. Must be flu season or TikTok or something. I wept quietly in his passenger seat. You might be reading this on a dead man's laptop after the black sites sweep through. Maybe you're DHS, CIA, or just unlucky. Doesn't matter. Print it, whisper it, tattoo it on walls. Because the math isn't simple. For every soul they swallow, hunger grows by compound interest. The benefactors will always want more. And remember, it was never about innocence. It was about ease. Children are small, trusting, portable. But if the supply runs thin, and it will, they'll take whoever's closest. Look in the mirror. Ask how much you weigh in souls. Then pray the darkness is slower than your scream.